and welcome back to the Beer Better Sports Podcast, the podcast created by sports fans for sports fans because we believe we are the most qualified people to talk about your favorite teams. I'm your co-host, Isaac.
And I'm your co-host, Noam.
And welcome to episode 119. Now, first off, we want to apologize for all the scheduling issues for this episode. Life catches up to you pretty hard, and sometimes you got to make last-minute changes. But the good news is we got today's episode out. We're doing it now. We got it out before Thursday Night Football, so that's what's important.
That's the important thing, yeah.
That is what is important. And yes, you can put an L in the chat for the start time.
You can put in the cat.
Yeah, put in the cat. Today's episode is going to be a good one. We got a lot to talk about because week 2 in the NFL was crazy. You saw the title, the week of the upsets, and more upsets. God, there's a reason why so many bettors in Las Vegas are calling the NFL rigged. It's because there's so many upsets. Man, we predicted it. Trap games aplenty.
We did not predict it. We predicted
I told you
it
there was going to be trap games. I told you. Before we get into that,
more correct than I was. I think I got 9 games wrong last, or maybe 10.
We all did. Each of us, you, me, and my girlfriend all got 9 games wrong exactly.
Me and Dakota had the exact same game picks, and I remember there was a couple you got right that we did not. So congratulations.
I picked a couple differently, and I still got them wrong. So that being said, we'll start the show off with what's on your mind. And I'm actually going to go first on this one because there's a couple things on my mind. It involves some sports that aren't football. So real quick, so today is the final day of the regular season in the WNBA, and things are looking pretty exciting. If you haven't been following the WNBA, let me give you a quick synopsis of where we stand.
They're breaking records.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark is going to finish probably as the leading scorer of the season, although A'ja Wilson is going to win MVP because she's had an insane year. Here are the standings currently. The New York Liberty have clinched the number 1 seed. Minnesota sits at the number 2 seed. The Connecticut Sun sit at the number 3 seed. Las Vegas sits at the number 4. The number 5 seed is Seattle. Indiana has clinched a playoff berth as the number 6 seed, and the Phoenix Mercury have clinched the 7th seed with a losing record. Yeah, there's been a lot of meh in the WNBA this year. A lot of meh. Here's what's on the line tonight. Dallas and Los Angeles are both eliminated. Los Angeles has clinched the number 1 pick, so they're probably going to take Paige Beckers. So, oh God, they are going to be really good. 3 teams are vying for one last playoff spot. The Atlanta Dream hold on to the 8th seed currently with a 14-25 record. However, if they lose tonight, the Washington Mystics will take the playoffs, will take that seed if they win. If Washington and Atlanta both lose, Chicago will take that last playoff spot. So who's playing who, obviously? Chicago is playing the Connecticut Sun, who are one of the top 3 teams in the league. They have to win and need Atlanta and Washington to lose to make the playoffs. Atlanta just needs to win or have Washington or lose and have Washington or Chicago lose, and they'll make it. But they're playing the Liberty, the best team in the entire league. So they're kind of screwed. Finally, Washington needs Chicago to lose and Atlanta to lose. Actually, Washington just needs Atlanta to lose and them to win. They're playing tonight against the Fever, and I will be in attendance as me and Dakota are headed down to Capital One Arena to watch the Washington Indiana game in person. It's going to be awesome. So, why are you messing with your hair on the pod? What are you doing, man? I can't hear you.
Because it was looking weird.
Oh, look.
It looked like it had a little pyramid or something going on there. You didn't even tell me. I had to look at it and like,
So that's what's on the line for the WNBA. It's going to be intense to see who gets in. By the way, all 3 of those teams I mentioned, Washington, Chicago, and Atlanta, they're losing in the first round because whoever gets in is going to have to play the Liberty.
So wait, the Mystics can make the playoffs?
Yeah, if they win tonight, they have to beat Caitlin Clark.
Yeah,
so
they're not going to. But like I checked their record like a week and a half ago. They were like one of the worst in the league. How the hell are they even eligible?
Because the bottom half of the WNBA table this year has been so bad that with so many meh teams that at least 2 teams are guaranteed to make the playoffs with a losing record, and it's probably going to be Phoenix in the 8th seed. So the only reason the Fever aren't down there is because Caitlin Clark has been pulling this team kicking and screaming. Not just her, because the Fever actually have a really good roster. They just are. There's just so much good talent at the top level of the table that it's really hard to break in. But Clark and the Fever have kicking and screaming pulled themselves up into the 6th seed. So they're probably going to have to face Connecticut, who, if you remember from the start of the season, it was the Sun. They were the first team to kind of go after Caitlin Clark and be a little rougher with her than other teams were. They were the first team that we started realizing, like, hey, like they're kind of going after her. So It's going to be fun. I'm excited for these playoffs. I think we could see some big upsets. I also briefly wanted to mention Major League Baseball because we've got less than 2 weeks left in the Major League Baseball season, and we're going to have to start talking about MLB playoffs. Unfortunately, Noam, I have some bad news for you.
I know. It's tragic.
The Braves are on the cusp of missing the playoffs.
I know. I don't know how things have gotten to this point. We just never turned the shit around. I thought we would.
The answer is the Mets got good. But last night, the Yankees clinched a playoff berth, but they haven't clinched the division yet because next week, the second to last series of the year, the Yankees play the Orioles, and whoever wins that series will win the division.
That doesn't affect me at all. I'm not an Orioles fan. I'm a Braves fan.
If only you were. If only you were. All right, now, real quick, before we get into the main cusp of the show, what's on your mind?
It's football stuff, but
I guess you can segue in.
We usually talk about. I usually make fun of NFC South for being the worst division in football. As of now, they are the best division in football.
Yeah.
And they still have the worst team in the league.
How did that happen?
The Saints and the Bucks are fucking legit. Baker's playing the best football of his life. I don't know.
We'll talk about that in a sec, but let's get into week 2 because it was pretty wild. And as you can see down there, I've got upsets, and more upsets. Everybody got an upset this week. And we're going to start things off. We'll start things off on a bit of a serious note because on Thursday night's game, Buffalo and Miami, things got a little scary. So Buffalo, by the way, called it. Buffalo blew out the Dolphins 31-10. Turns out Buffalo has something that they haven't had for the last couple of years. And one of the big reasons why they haven't been, making it past the second round of the playoffs, Buffalo has a running back now. James Cook went off for 3 touchdowns and had a monstrous night all in the first half as Buffalo blew out the Dolphins. But that's not the big story. That's one of them. The big story is
not even for the Buffalo offense. That's not even the reason they were doing that good.
Yeah, the problem
here's
the big Josh Allen also played great too.
Phenomenal game.
Yeah. The big story to come out of this game, the serious one, is that for the 4th time in the last 3 seasons, Tua Tagovailoa has left a game with a serious concussion. And this one probably might be a career ender. If you didn't see what happened, he ran up the middle, play broke down, tried to get a first down, and instead of sliding, he tried to go through Damar Hamlin's chest. Now, the last time someone tried to go through Damar Hamlin's chest, we almost lost Damar Hamlin. This time, we might have lost Tua's mind. That's because Tua suffered. Yeah, that's actually messed up. Oops,
that's a
little messed up. That's a little messed up
thing to say.
I'm gonna be canceled for that.
That was great. Okay, I'm glad you're here. I think that was actually really, really cool.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. All right. Well,
okay.
Meant, of course, but that is exactly what the truth. Yeah. So Tua takes a very vicious hit / bounces off, and goes down, leaves the game. It's all over the news. Everyone's saying, should he retire? Many people are saying he should retire. Tua says he is not retiring. My stance on this is it's his decision. He's going to know his health and make the most informed thing. We can all speculate and everything like that, but it wouldn't be like the greatest thing to judge him when we're not in his shoes. So I'm saying whatever. It is his choice. In my opinion, one of those concussions would have been enough for me to be out, but that's, I at this point, he's one Madden cover away from turning into Antonio Brown in 10 years. So I'm just he needs to be very careful. He needs to be careful. He needs to really be careful. I'm hoping for the best for him. And he was not playing well before he went out of the game. He was up.
No, he had 3 interceptions.
He was playing awful. Yeah. And after that the game was lost anyways. But I was really wrong about this game. I thought the Dolphins would come out there and it would be enough, and Josh Allen by himself wouldn't be enough to do it. Josh Allen was not by himself. He did play a phenomenal game. He had his running back. And their defense was not good, but it was against the Dolphins, who had nothing of that to offer at that point. So I know people are going to look at the Bills' interceptions and be like, wow. But I'm going to be honest, that was mostly Tua, just really bad ball placement. I didn't think he was giving it to the defenders. But
on the point of should Tua retire, I honestly think he should, because if not, he's got to wear a guardian cap or something, or learn to slide, because these hits, like, I'm surprised he didn't retire after the first one, the one he suffered against the Bengals 2 years ago. That was brutal, but I've never seen a player suffer this many concussions.
In this small amount of time frame, right? Like this, like these are all really bad concussions
within 3 years.
3 years, yeah. It's
2 of them he had back-to-back weeks 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
because they rushed him back, and it was insane.
Yeah, and at some point, by the way, people are giving Prime Video crap for showing a montage of his concussions. No, bro, that I'm not. You're like, this is disgusting. Why would you show that? Because we've never seen an NFL player in the history of the league be this susceptible to concussions before. Like, seriously, the other quarterbacks take big hits too. We've never seen somebody who gets a concussion this frequently.
I know. And maybe now the NFL will allow EA Sports to add a concussion to the injury list that you can get in Madden. Did you know that you can't? You know that you cannot get a concussion in Madden? You get every other injury, but you cannot get a concussion. The NFL is super anti putting it out there that you can get concussion. They are super against the CTE train.
And the thing that's really funny about that is that
it's pretty sickening to me, honestly. Like,
it's gross, yeah. I will say, what's his name? Dr. Bennett Owalu. He's the Nigerian doctor who was in the movie Concussion. Will Smith played him. Shout out Will Smith. And I remember after Tua suffered his first serious one, Dr. Owalu was like, you got to retire, man. Like, because we've seen players get concussions before and be able to walk off the field. Tua had to be carted off.
Yeah.
Second concussion.
He was out. He was out for weeks.
Yeah, it's serious. So the big question, of course, now is like, what happens going forward with the Dolphins? Well, Skylar Thompson's the quarterback going forward. Tua says he'll be back in weeks.
They snagged Tyler Huntley off the Ravens practice squad.
Tyler Huntley's not terrible, but
he's better than Skylar Thompson.
Yeah.
But without Tua, we'll see.
Yeah. Let's move to Sunday's games, and we'll start with the NFC South because Noam mentioned earlier.
I'm going to let my dog in. I'm sorry. She's freaking out.
You're all good. The NFC South provided us with 2 big surprises. As Noam said earlier, the NFC South has kind of become the best division in football. And the highlights of this division are the New Orleans Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Go Bucs. The Saints blew out the Cowboys 44-19 with Alvin Kamara scoring 4 total touchdowns. Meanwhile, the Bucs pulled a big upset over the Lions in a rematch of the divisional round from last year with Baker Mayfield running for a touchdown and throwing one himself. I'm lumping these games together because they're very similar in that we expected these 2 teams to probably not win, I guess.
Wait, which one are you talking about? I'm sorry.
Saints, Cowboys, and Bucs, Lions.
Oh, they're talking about the NFC South game. Yeah, okay. And you're talking about the Saints in a favorable light. Are they not just that?
Oh no, I listen. Oh, listen. Don't get me wrong. I hate that the Saints are good. I hate that the Saints are legit. I hate the fact that this team that I've despised for years is somehow now the best team in the NFL with the league's number 1 offense. You know, I'm kind of happy that it was the Cowboys who had to suffer through that. You know.
Yeah.
That's nice, but
all of a sudden, for the first time, national attention is on a Bucs Saints matchup. Like, oh my god, nail biting.
When do they play? I'm scared.
That's what everyone's wondering. When do they play?
I'm scared. I'm looking it up right now. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that week 5? Week 6. They play. Their first game is week 6.
That's a shame. I kind of wish they'd play week 4. Because I don't expect this to continue for either team that long.
They do play, if they keep this up, they do end the season against each other.
Oh, if they keep it up, this is insane. But yeah, so like you said, kind of the same thing for both teams where we've been thinking, okay, well, you were against the Panthers week 1 and you were against the Commanders week 1. You blew them out. You shoot off. Let's see you do it against a real team. Oh my God! They both did it against really real teams. All right, the Saints did the same exact thing to the Cowboys that they did to the Panthers, just annihilated them, made them look hilarious.
And then the Bucs got a gritty win against the Lions.
Dude, the Lions, like the one of the best teams in football, or so we thought. Like, what the hell is the Bucs? Oh my God, Baker is legit.
I still think the Lions are one of the best teams in football. I just think
They
that
are.
the Bucs are now on their level. Because last year, the Bucs last year were coming off the Tom Brady era and were looking for a new identity. And they started to find that last year with Baker. Kind of, and that was that, this is a team that despite losing the greatest player in football history, this is a team that,
quarterback,
the past couple of years, they honestly had basically just been a great defense and nothing else because their offense was non-existent. That last Tom Brady year was painful to watch because their offense was so terrible.
Bad.
They were trying to find a new identity, and Baker has got that. This is a tough team that is going to fight and win, and it's something that the Bucs. It's the type of identity that the Bucs need to be successful because this is the same identity that the Bucs had during their first era of greatness in the late 90s and the early 2000s when they won that first Super Bowl. They were a tough, no-nonsense team with a great defense and an offense that did just enough. And they've got themselves a quarterback now in Baker Mayfield who is likable. So it's not a Tom Brady situation where you feel guilty about rooting for them, like I did for 3 years.
He still has his jersey, though.
It's a nice jersey, man. It's going to be a collector's item one day. I need to get me a Baker creamsicle jersey. I know I hate the creamsicles, but man, I mean,
that'd be sick. A Baker creamsicle jersey would actually be sick.
It would be nice, but they can't wear them into play because they always lose when they wear the creamsicles.
That's true.
No,
but go ahead. Sorry.
The Bucs toughing it out against the Lions, I think, is a really big step forward because it proves we can go toe to toe with the best teams in the NFC now. That's something last year that was the problem for the Bucs. Yeah, they could beat up on weaker opponents and the other wildcard teams, but when they had to go up against the best teams in the league, they would fight, but they weren't going to win. Now it's like, okay, now not only can we fight against the best teams in the NFC, we can beat them. And that's huge. That basically says this Bucs team isn't just another, fringe playoff team that is going to win a weak division. This is a Bucs team that can compete for the division title, compete for the conference title, I think. Chris Godwin's having an insane season, by the way. Baker looks great. He's already on the radar.
Godwin looks so good, finally.
Godwin looks so good.
The Bucs' new offense. They're getting Chris Godwin involved. They're using everything right. Baker is cooking. What is going on?
Our run game is actually not bad for once, which is something that the Bucs have been terrible at since Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones left. We have not had a solid running game in years, and finally, now we actually have one.
They finally come out of Ronald Jones' locker.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the same year the Bucs actually look good for once, the Saints end up being one of the best teams in football. What happened? This pisses me off. This pisses me off because the Saints haven't made any major changes. The only difference is they changed OCs, and now all of a sudden, all of their weapons are good. All of their weapons are good. Who is Rashid Shaheed, and why is he so good?
He's phenomenal. He's a good role player, but yeah.
When did Derek Carr become like the best quarterback in football?
He literally his offense PFF gave his offensive grade 92.3 last week. Insane. There was only one person higher, and it was Kyler Murray.
Oh my gosh.
At 93.2. Yeah.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
You want to hear the top five?
Yeah.
Kyler Murray.
Okay.
Derek Carr. Then there's a drop, a big drop down to number 3, who is at an 80. Those are both 92 plus. At 83.9 is Geno Smith. Then Sam Darnold. Then Josh Allen. And then Aaron Rodgers. Like, that's your top 6 right there. What a weird year this has been.
This is why I sometimes don't like the start of a new NFL season, because the first 4 weeks are so random with parity before we finally figure out like who the actual good teams are. But I'm convinced that the Saints and Bucs might actually both be really good.
Oh, they look so good. It's hard to say. Like, I don't see any reason to assume that they're bad. I don't see any like flaws in there that I'm like, oh my god, yeah, they're terrible.
I mean, I do hope the Saints fall off and the Bucs can win the division, but it's going to be really fascinating to watch these two teams going forward. But I want to turn the question to you, Noam. What is the deal with Dallas and Detroit? What do we think about them after this game? Because both of them are now 1-1 after pretty embarrassing loss. Well, Dallas's loss. Detroit's loss wasn't embarrassing. It was more just a whoa. We have competition now. Dallas's was more of a what the hell.
I disagree. I think Detroit's thing is confusing. The rest of the team seems fine. Jared Goff seems not good at all. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. Week 1, I was like, okay, meh. But no, week 2, I was like, okay. No, it looks a little bit. Let's see. Oh my dude. He was terrible. 44.4 passing offensive grade from PFF. Awful. One of the worst performances in the league. Like in the league for week 2. Like, he's down there with like Will Levis is above him. Okay. Mm-hmm. Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Bryce Young, like those are the company he was in last week. That's how like he just,
brother.
I don't expect that to repeat, but Jared Goff for some reason has turned back into the Jared Goff that the Rams traded away with 2 first-round picks. First, Matthew Stafford. It seemed like, because it's like the last 2 years you were thinking like, okay, that might as well have been an even swap. They could have traded him without the draft picks and it would have been fine. But here we are now, and he's like, I don't know. Jared Goff got to pull it out, and if he does, Detroit will be fine. Dallas, to me, this doesn't prove anything about them that I didn't already know, honestly. Yeah, okay, they did get annihilated, and that's kind of strange to see, because to me, it's just like week 1 we saw the ceiling for this team, and here we saw the floor, right? It's like we saw their best and their worst, right, with first week and second week. Week 1, everything's looking perfect. Their system, you see like their entire offensive scheme, like how it goes in their whole system. And week 2, you see that entire thing get exposed. If the Saints, who played them perfectly, by the way, perfect game plan, if they do that, you see what happens, what you're able to do if you are able to expose this team in every way simultaneously. And they did. So they got annihilated. So I'm a little lower on Dallas, but overall, I'm not too worried about it because I didn't discover any new things that I'm like, oh, that's concerning. I'm really just like, okay, if you know what you're doing and you have a specific kind of defense, you can really shut down Dallas, and you can expose their defense as well. Their linebackers look so slow. I don't know if you watched the game; they looked so slow. The week 1 they were flying to the ball. Week 2 they looked so slow. That is scheming right there. That's what that is. So that's for those. That's my take on those two.
Nice. Well, we mentioned there was a lot of upsets this week, and here we'll get into the upsets bit by bit, but here's one upset we got to talk about, and that was this one. So we all said last week that without Jordan Love, the Packers were going to lose to the Colts. What the hell happened? What the hell happened, man? So Malik Willis somehow Malik Willis and the Packers pulled a huge upset, beating the Colts 16-10 in a pretty ugly game, honestly. I watched highlights of this game, and it was rough to watch. I mean, this was because the Packers had a great game plan, and the Colts completely underestimated. I don't know what the hell Indy was doing. I don't know. Indy seems like a spinning top right now. You don't know what side it's going to land on with the Colts. And the last 2 weeks we have gotten L. At least last week they were competitive. Well, 2 weeks ago. This week they just had nothing until the fourth quarter. Nothing at all. Like they were
the Colts?
Yeah, the Colts. Because they were competitive against the Texans, but
they were really good. We were like, wow.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, maybe we allowed the Anthony Richardson hype to maybe carry us a little bit too far. But this week we saw a lot of like outside of those really big throws. Let's come back down to earth a little bit on Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
He's still got a lot to prove. He has not arrived just yet.
I think a big chunk of his struggles in this game was because the Packers defense balled out, which
they did.
But also, I mean, he is an unproven commodity. You got to remember, he's only played in 4 games in his entire NFL career because he got hurt around this time last year. You have to remember that. So that's why I'm like, we have to see how he does with a longer schedule. Go ahead.
The sample size was like strictly like showing us good things, which is why I think we got all excited. I'm with them. I'm just agreeing with you. I'm like, we do got to keep that in mind. Same thing for Caleb when we get to there. I also want us to halt the hate on Caleb, but like, but that's for when we get there. For the Colts, I'm sorry, after the Colts, because we said, well, I said what I need about them. The Packers. Matt LaFleur's game plan, man. Like he actually got Malik Willis involved, and in a way that wasn't like a typical, hey man, we have a backup in here. We're gonna run read option with our athletic quarterback and yada. Like he moved the ball fairly well. They used their running game. Like I was like, okay. Yeah. The Packers were just the Colts were completely unprepared. They were just not, like you said, they completely underestimated the Packers game plan. They did not expect him to run that. And Malik Willis, I mean, I'm not gonna say like, oh wow, I've changed my mind on Malik Willis or anything like that. It's just like, there was a plan in motion and they executed it well.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs, 32 carries, which seeing a running back get that many carries in this age of the NFL is insane. 32 carries, 151 yards. The Packers basically said, we're going to keep it on the ground. We know that Willis's arm strength really isn't there yet, so we're just going to keep it on the ground, and we're going to plan around running the ball, chewing up clock. It's a strategy that works like almost 100% of the time. Like, it's so good. It's such a good strategy. And it takes teams by surprise because you don't expect teams to run that strategy in this era of the NFL. And the Colts completely fell for it. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I do want to give a shout out to the Packers center, who is our goober of the week. Did you see what happened during the game? What he did that made Malik
Myers?
What
we do? Was it just Myers, right? Josh Myers.
I think so. The Packers center. In the middle of the game, the Packers had a weird play where they had to audible where Malik Willis randomly audibled to hand the ball off instead of passing it, and Matt LaFleur was like mad at him. It's like, why'd you do that? The plan was a pass, and he was like, Coach, the center puked on the ball. Yeah, the Packers center puked on the ball before he snapped at him. Malik took one look, was like, hey, we running it. He's like, I'm not touching this.
Throwing that shit. I'm not about to throw a fucking muffin up there. No.
Apparently, from what I've read, the Packers center had a stress. It was a stress thing. He was like, oh man, I'm really nervous. All right, I'm good. But all on the ball, bro. Play on the ball. Why couldn't you do it in the huddle like other people?
Oh. Yeah, like other people. Come on, man.
Oh, that's our goober of the week. I can't think of anyone else who would be it, honestly, because there's too many candidates with all the upsets.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
Real quick, let's talk about a game that wasn't an upset, but felt like an upset. The Jets take down the Titans 24-17. Now, we both said before this game that the Jets had to win this for us to not be alarmed. And no, I think the big shout out goes to Jets running back Braylon Allen, who scored twice to keep them in this game. But I'm still a little bit alarmed about
Me
about
too.
how close.
That's what I actually want to say. I was like, yeah, they won. I'm actually a little alarmed. They didn't blow them out like I expected them to. And the defense, what the fuck? Where's their defense at?
The Titans.
They were able to move the ball. Where the fuck is the pass? Where is Quinn Williams? Find him. Find Quinn Williams.
They lost somebody too. Someone got injured, got out for the year with like a torn Achilles. I forgot who it was, but it was on the defensive line. So
yeah, no, I don't know what's going on with the Jets. The Jets defense I expected to be really good, and I expect them to turn out better. Like this is not gonna. Quinn Williams will not just disappear from planet Earth, and they will put it together. But it's a Robert Saleh defense. They're gonna be fine. But for right now, where are they? Where did they go? Where did they go? I can't find them. Where did they go?
Who knows? I feel like the Jets are winning games. That's what's important. They've won a game. Aaron Rodgers has won, but it's way too close for comfort. And at some point, this is a situation where it's like you technically kind of got outplayed by the Titans. Calvin Ridley. Right now the Titans right now honestly aren't a bad team. It's just that Will Levis is their quarterback. Like if Will Levis is the QB of the Titans, like they're 2-0.
I don't know about that. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Rodgers did play super well though.
He did.
One of the highest graded quarterbacks in the league this week. Like he was really good with his placement and everything.
The Jets, like I said, the Jets aren't going to be a bad team this year, but I think we need to tamper our expectations that they're going to win the division at the rate they're going because they haven't looked. I'm worried about the Jets.
I agree.
Getting blown up by the 49ers is one thing because it's San Francisco, but barely beating the Titans, that's concerning. Anyway, not much else to say on that. Let's get back to the upsets. The Vikings beat the 49ers.
Yeah, that's talking about upset. What the hell? The 49ers come off the best game they in the whole season playing the Jets in week 1. They were just electric. And here they got kind of outcoached by Brian Flores and his defense, where he got a defense that is not the most talented defense in the world to do a Brian Flores thing and pretend that they are, like they acted like top 5. The Vikings coaching staff is fucking impeccably good.
It's really good. They took a situation like I told you at the beginning of the year. I made that joke. I said, and I quote, "Ayo, what if the Vikings pull a 99 Rams and somehow become the best team in the league?"
It's still week 2. Don't jinx it. It's still week 2.
Okay, but they're 2-0. Sam Darnold is a favorite for MVP. They just beat one of the best teams in their conference, if not the entire league.
Dude, what if Sam Darnold wins MVP?
Sam Darnold looks more comfortable than he has in years. The only issue, honestly, is that Justin Jefferson might have to miss a couple weeks because he's got a sore quad. But other than that, they avoided the nightmare scenario of having Justin Jefferson out for the year because he only bruised his quad. He'll be fine. He's just got to sit out like a week or so. You know, they have weapons abound. Aaron Jones looks awesome with the team. They've got an insane amount of weapons they can use, and they just took down one of the best teams in football. Not only that, they also were kind of riddled the Niners with injuries because Christian McCaffrey's out long term. Deebo Samuel's hurt. Nick Bosa's hurt. George Kittle's hurt. It's the injury bug is hitting the Niners again. It's going to be one of those years where San Francisco gets just torn apart by injuries. This always happens to them every what is it? It's an even year. Even year Niners get torn apart by injuries. Odd year Niners do well. Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about it. Ever since 2018, Jimmy Garoppolo tears ACL, teams get injured to hell, miss the playoffs. 2019, they're healthy, they make the Super Bowl. 2020, the entire team in their stadium gets injured. 2021, they actually do okay. They make this, they almost make the Super Bowl. 2022, the team gets torn apart, but still makes the playoffs. But they lose all their quarterbacks in the final game of the year. Last year, they stay healthy, make the playoffs. It's an even year. It's time for the Niners to get injured again.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Whew.
I don't know what to expect. I'm fully on board the Vikings now. I'm like, they're so well coached and they have so many really good weapons. I'm fully on board them.
I've always been a Sam Darnold fan.
I imagine that took you so long to finally admit.
I have always been a Sam Darnold fan, but it's like I never wanted to fucking believe. He never gave me a reason to believe. But it's just this is the best situation he's ever been in. It just goes to show you landing spot is everything. And to be fair, I still think the damage done to Sam Darnold is too much at this point for him to ever be like the future of a franchise. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe
and
Baker's doing it. Why can't he?
I'm also excited to see how this is going to help JJ McCarthy because I know he's out hurt, but he's getting time to sit and learn. And that's something that you need for young quarterbacks these days. You can't push young quarterbacks out there.
I feel like if it was McCarthy in there, they'd have been terrible.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, they would have. I've seen that trend a lot recently with young quarterbacks who get the start. Okay, let's knock out some easy games real quick that we don't need to go too depth into. Seahawks-Patriots played probably one of the best games of the early slate. Back and forth contest went to overtime. Seahawks win on a late field goal from Jason Myers. Both of these teams, this was a really well. These two teams matched up really well against each other, and it was a really entertaining game. So, I'm excited to see. Seahawks are 2-0. We'll see what happens with the Niners getting hurt. With the Niners and Rams getting hurt, this might have opened the door. Man.
Yeah, wait till we get to the Rams injuries. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this might have opened the door. Patriots also don't look too bad either. They've been really competitive in their first two games against solid teams.
They're feisty. Yeah, they're feisty. Yeah.
They're a rebuilding team, but I think they're going to be okay. Oh God, I feel like we're going to go more in depth, so I'll skip that one. Giants Commanders. The New York Giants become the first team in NFL history to score 3 touchdowns in a game, hold their opponents to no touchdowns, and still lose.
Insane.
Because the Commanders hit 7 field goals from Austin Seibert 1 week after they got rid of their kicker because he couldn't make a field goal. Their new kicker makes 7 field goals, and they get their first win. This game was weird.
Disgusting. It was awful.
The Giants
so bad.
Kickoff. They can't go for kicks anymore. It was just
the Giants were so bad. It was like the Commanders were determined to meet them halfway.
The crazy thing about it is that the Commanders didn't even play that bad. Like Jaden Daniels was solid. Brian Robinson, none
of them were good. None of them were. I mean, okay, well, they weren't bad, but none of them were like good. Jaden Daniels to me was not impressive. He didn't impress, but he,
he's young. He's got a ways to go, but I think he did better than he did in the opener against the Bucs. Then again, they are playing the Giants, so take that.
I would hope that he did better, and he didn't do bad there either. And we'll see. I at this point I'm worried. Like, okay, he doesn't have a low floor or a high ceiling at this point, but it's like, well, we'll see. There's only week 2. We'll see.
Yeah, and it's the Giants. I mean, you're playing the Giants.
Beat their ass. They're the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants the problem is we can't give the Daniel Jones dumbass interception of the week award to the Giants because they didn't really have any dumb interceptions.
No, they just aren't good. They're just a
Malik
really
Neighbors
bad team.
Malik Neighbors is going to be a problem.
Oh, Malik Neighbors look great. Yeah.
Give him a real quarterback.
There's a thing that's exciting.
Yeah, there's some good from both of these teams. It's just this game is kind of hard to watch, but shout out to the Commanders in getting an actual kicker, because after the pain of watching Cade York whiff multiple times in week 1 to Austin Siebert single-handedly beating the Giants. First of all, I love it when teams win by death by field goal. When you just go field goal to death, it's hilarious.
Death by 1,000 field goals.
Yeah. I do want to see Washington score more touchdowns on the offensive side of the ball, and I do want to see Jaden. Yeah, or any touchdowns, because it's only going to get tougher from here. But hey, a win's a win, and yeah.
A little worried about the Washington secondary too.
Oh, their secondary is trash.
It's horrible.
Every time
their whole defense is kind of trash. Like their whole,
which is a shame because they've got some really good players on that defensive line.
Well, they used to. They don't have an edge rush, but yeah.
Well, Chase Young is now. Do you know Chase Young's on the Saints now?
No, I didn't know he was on the Saints, but I did know he wasn't.
Anyway,
I knew he was on the Niners last year. Like,
yeah,
they don't have anyone on the edge. They traded Montez. I remember when they traded Montez and Chase away.
Yeah. Now we mentioned how the Commanders. We both agree the Commanders are going to be one of the worst teams in the league, but the worst team in the league is the Panthers. We got to talk about the Panthers.
They're so bad. I don't know what to say. I guess the thing to talk about is the fact that they benched Bryce Young and they're now going with Andy
I'll quickly say this about the Chargers, because there's not much to take away for this game for the Chargers because it is the Panthers. But Justin Herbert looked okay, and Quentin Johnson had a great game. The Chargers, I don't know. We'll see how the Chargers do this week, because it's hard because the Chargers' first 2 games have been against pretty bad teams, but they've been good. They're playing really old school football where they run the ball a lot and they don't throw it. J.K. Dobbins has had over 100 yards in the first 2 games. He's been really, really good and hasn't gotten hurt yet.
Phenomenal, yeah. I know he's on the Chargers. I was a little like, J.K. Dobbins is going to the Chargers. Okay, that's really rolling the dice, my dude, but he's been good so far.
Yeah. This is the type of football that, Jim Harbaugh likes to play. I remember when he was the Niners coach, this was Jim Harbaugh's style. Run first offense with an insanely good defense. And their defense is right now, 2 weeks in, their defense is right up there with the Steelers, is the best defense in the league. So,
yeah.
I mean, when you have Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, I mean, you better be one of the best defenses in the league. So, but again, it's against the Panthers, so take it with a grain of salt.
Both past their prime, but yes.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Panthers, though, because what the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell?
So, obviously, benching Bryce is the right thing to do for him and for the rest of the team. This is, for him, it's like, oh, everyone's gonna be like, oh, you give it up on him too quickly, but it's like, you're not gonna win with him at this point, right? You're just not. He's been either ruined forever or like ruined partially, and either way, he cannot perform right now. So
I think he's been ruined forever.
I think so too, but whatever, who knows? It's landing spot is everything. Either way, Andy Dalton is a solid quarterback, and he should be better than Bryce. You have the rest of the team is still full of people who want to win and still can win. This is early in the year. It's not week 2. It's not too late for them to turn around and still win this division. It's going to be very hard with the Bucs and Saints playing both like top 5 NFL teams. But hey, who knows, right? So if they're trying to be competitive and show that they have anything, this is the right thing to do. Bryce can't do it. He can't do it. They threw him out there too early and killed him. And no, I don't think his talent just like disappeared. I think it's just landing spot is everything. And the Panthers are the worst landing spot of the league. I still think they're going to lose every game. They're terrible. This is bringing back memories of 0-16 Browns.
Ooh,
it is. It really is though. They are looking so bad. They look like they can't do anything right. So maybe Andy Dalton rights the ship a little bit and tries to get them out of there, but who knows?
Oh, I don't think they're that bad.
They look that bad. They look that bad. They look terrible.
I mean, they're pretty bad. I think Andy Dalton will give them a chance to win, but I still don't think they're going to win. I think who knows? Who knows? If they play a really, really bad, who they got in their schedule going forward?
I still believe in head ass.
Who? Oh, Andy Dalton.
That's my guy. I still believe in head ass.
Their schedule is kind of brutal down the stretch. I mean, oh God, they have some chances, honestly, because they've got the Giants, they've got the Broncos, they've got the Bears, so there are some chances there.
They have a 4th place schedule in the NFC. They have some chances.
But also down the stretch, they play the Chiefs. They have a stretch of Chiefs, Bucks, Eagles, Cowboys, Cardinals, Bucks, Falcons.
Probably all losses. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably all losses. But what can
They
you do?
probably are. They're probably a 2-15 team. Honestly, I can see them probably only games they have a chance are against the Giants and Broncos.
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe they turn around. Maybe they surprise you.
I would love it if they did. Wait, no, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I don't know how I
why
feel
would
about
you?
I don't
You're
know.
like, I would love if they did. So suddenly, week 14, whatever, they beat the Bucks by a field goal.
I'd throw something.
Yeah,
I would throw something.
I'd put my fist through my screen.
This game, there's not much to talk about with this game. The Browns bested the Jags in an ugly, rainy game. It's just frustrating that the Browns can win games with that man as their quarterback.
Okay, so there's a little bit to talk about here.
The Jags naming their stadium Trevor Bank for the day and then getting embarrassed.
I didn't know they did that. That's really funny.
They did that.
They did that.
They
Trevor
lost.
Bank?
They lost to a very, very, very average Browns team.
Phenomenal roster. Good defensive coaching. Deshaun Watson played. Yeah, he's okay. He's all right. Trevor did not look good at all in Trevor Bank.
Oh, you're never gonna let them hear the end of that, right?
No, they got embarrassed by the Browns in their own. No, I can't. So Trevor looked terrible in Trevor Bank. But what I want to draw attention to is actually Doug Peterson and the consistent way that he has failed over the course of the years. I think he's a good coach, but he has an identity, right? He has an identity, and this identity, I feel like, is rearing its head here in Jacksonville too, where you sometimes get these like really, really undisciplined, messy ass like showings from his quarterbacks, running backs, and O-line. For whatever reason, I remember like the last year he was with the Eagles, and these players were running into each other. Shit looked weird as hell. And I'm like, I was watching this game against the Browns, mind you, and I'm like, they're running into each other again. Like, what's going on? I'm just saying, I'm putting a little bit on Doug Peterson. To be honest, no, I don't want to say that yet. I was gonna say we're getting to the point now where I'm wondering if they fall apart this year, is Doug Peterson gone? But I don't want to say that yet.
Absolutely.
So? Yeah. Okay.
How long has he been there now? Hang on. How long has Dougie been there?
It's like 2019, maybe. I mean, when did they get rid of Doug Marrone? 2020?
Probably. He's been head coach of the Jags since.
2022?
I always forgot he was a quarterback for a long time. He's been head coach since 2022, so he's been there. This is his fourth season. This is his fourth year, his third year. So
third year.
Honestly,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
First year was promising, and outside of that, I mean, remember the first rule of Matt Rule?
What, the first rule of what? Oh, the first rule. Matt Rules. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you come in here, you expect a 3-year change. Where are we after 3 years?
Not looking good so far.
So where's Matt Rule? Gone. Just saying, Doug Peterson, watch out.
We'll wrap up the early games, and oh no, it's time to talk about it. The Raiders upset the stunning. You have to. The first way to heal is to talk about it. The Raiders upset the Ravens 26-23. Gardner Minshew with the second time in 3 years that he's walked into Baltimore and led a massive upset against the Ravens. All right, Ravens fan, what the hell happened?
Okay, so I want to point out, this is not, unlike the Atlanta Falcons, this is not our history. 2008 through 2020. Look at our amount of blown leads in the fourth quarter. It's like nothing. But in the last 2 years, it's like, oh, I don't know. We have like 10 fourth quarter blown leads or something like that in the last 2 years alone. Like,
it's
something
pretty bad.
Ridiculous. Yeah, it's been horrific. We've coalesced the entire Atlanta Falcons history into the last 2 seasons for us. It's been horrible.
Oh.
And this is rare for the Ravens. All right, we know the Ravens defense is pretty good, right? Brandon Stevens did not have a good game. Maybe we see more Nate Wiggins. I don't know, but the Ravens offense does not have an identity. They don't know which one they are.
Yeah,
I know why they don't have an identity. Todd Monken wants to be able to have whenever we turn into a one-trick pony and we know our scheme and that thing falls apart, we get exposed. It's happened multiple years. So we're like, okay, when push comes to shove in the playoffs, we want to be varied. Last year in the playoffs, we were varied, but we were getting in our own way with the game plan. We instead of just sticking to that, we're now trying to see what type of art we're a little bit of everything. Lamar is doing a little bit of everything, and it's like we need to figure out which offensive scheme we're actually going to go with, and we can and adjust on the fly. They are just kind of throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks, and you don't need to do that all the time. Also, Devontae Adams, oh my God, vintage performance by him.
Dude, that catch he had was insane.
Oh my God, the sideline catch! I was just like, why? My heart! Fuck! Oh, shit! Oh. So that's my takeaway. I'm not in panic mode yet. I think the Ravens will right the ship, but I am deeply disappointed that remember what we said last week? We were like, this might be the one where it's like, oh God, stop! You've killed him. That's what I expected. I was like, the Ravens might put up 55 points. They might actually.
Yeah, this was the game. Yeah, this was the game that I thought was going to be. This was going to be the stop, he's already dead game, where it's like,
and it should have been, and it was not.
Because the
they
Ravens
got murdered. They didn't get murdered, but they might as well have gotten murdered for a team to lose to the Raiders, which are. I was already wrote them off after week 1 as being like a joke, but you know what? They're scrappy. They righted the ship. They earned this comeback. Yeah. The Ravens let them, but they did earn it. They did earn it. Gardner Minshew played out of his mind. Like, what?
They're not going to be good, but they're going to fight, and I think that's
that's how I'd put it too.
Yeah, my big takeaway from this is like it's Gardner Minshew. He's a scrapper. He's a fighter. He's always going to fight hard like that, and that's why I was taking the Raiders not seriously, but giving the Raiders credit. Ravens. Here's what the Ravens got to run the ball more. They're a run-the-ball team, and they have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, 2 great running backs. Oops. Sorry. They've got Derrick Henry. Feed him the ball.
They're not.
He did have a good game. He did have like 84 yards, but
no, he's not looking good. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's not. He's not running the ball well in this scheme. They do have to like scheme around him. And I think it might be O-line issues. It
could be. You guys have a great O-line, though, so I'm not sure.
No, exactly. We don't. We don't have a great O-line. We have the right side of the O-line. We have a 380-pound guard. And I was wondering, why are they running Falele in that guard position? He's a tackle. And they want to put Rosengarten out there. But then Rosengarten, our second round rookie, does not even win the job. And I was not huge on him as a prospect. And so Patrick McCurry wins it and gets just annihilated in week 1. I mean, to be fair, I don't know if you saw week 1, but at the end of the game against the Chiefs, in one of the last plays of the game, Patrick McCurry does not block. I have him too, by the way. Patrick McCurry does not block Chris Jones coming off the edge. And you know who does? Justice Hill. A receiving back blocked Chris Jones and did it well, like for a receiving back. Like he didn't just go right through him without knowing he was there, like you'd expect. Yeah, I have him too. I understand, Dakota. But I'm like, the right side of this line needs to be fixed. Put McCarry is an undrafted free agent center. He can play any position. Yeah, we love him. Yeah, sure. Put him at guard. Get Falele out of there and have Rosengarten start, and you'll have something resembling a solid offense, like an O-line, some stability. Get these guys in, week after week, a couple, or Ben Cleveland back in there, or just something like just get. I got a lot to say about the Ravens O-line, or at least that right side of the line. The left side's looking pretty good. Ronnie Stanley's been okay. I thought he died in this game. Like, because Ronnie Stanley is an injury-ridden player, and he, I don't know if you saw early in the game. He runs off the field, or basically pretty much comes off the field. He's holding like his foot, and he looks like he's in agony. I'm like, that's his career at this point. Like that, whatever that is, he gets done. He comes back in the game like after like a quarter and is playing really well. I was like, okay, wow, okay, plot twist. Why even do that? Like, why would the writers even write that for the NFL? Like, why even give me that heart attack?
So no, how big of a need now is it for the Ravens to get the win in week 3? Like
absolutely crucial.
Yeah. You have to.
Time to start writing the ship. We are in the AFC. We are in the AFC North. Pittsburgh is competitive. The Bengals are competitive. The Browns are winning games. And obviously, those are all 3. Yeah. And like, we're supposed to be the best team out of the bunch of them. We cannot be 0-3.
Yeah. Well, we'll move to the late games now. And try and speed it up just a little bit. So real quick, Rams Cardinals. You know how I said last week that I was really impressed with the Cardinals about how scrappy they were and how I was like, they might be one of those teams you got to watch out for. You know, they're not going to be good, but they can fight. I was wrong. They're good.
Their offense is scary good.
Their offense is
scary good.
Marvin Harrison Jr. might be just as good as his daddy. 4 catches, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. In the first half, he was a monster. Kyler Murray looked incredible. James Conner looked incredible. The Rams got injured to hell and back, and
the Rams
might be screwed.
The Rams might have gotten shot. I'm not confident they didn't all get shot before the game. Like, I don't know what happened, but they're out. To me, like they're out. Everyone's getting injured. I'm out on the Rams. Everyone is injured. Their whole receiving core is injured.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I'm all in on the Cardinals now, man. They're giving me 2021 vibes, but good.
Their defense is still meh.
But yeah. Their defense is still going to be iffy, and I think their game against Detroit this week, when we get into picks, I think their game in Detroit this week is going to be like insanely high scoring because neither team's defense can make a stop. But the Cardinals, that offense is back to 2021 standards, and you remember how good that Cardinals offense was, how they were just steamrolling their way through their opponents early in the season. What were they? They were like 8-0 at one point, 11-1 before it all fell apart.
Yeah, but everyone knew it fell apart.
Well, that was a Cliff Kingsbury thing. Jonathan Gannon's. This is Jonathan Gannon's team now. So
that doesn't give me that much hope. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Speaking of not a lot of hope, so the Steelers' defense is the best defense in the NFL. It is so good. Their offense is hot doo-doo. I don't know what else to say. The Steelers' defense. The Steelers have allowed just 16 points in 2 games. They have scored 31 points. They can barely put up points on their opponents. We held the Broncos to just 6 points. Well, the Broncos are terrible, and Bo Nix is terrible. By the way, really quickly, because now I'm remembering it. Your Daniel Jones dumbest interception of the week goes to Bo Nix for that pick in the end zone that he got asked about and literally just looked at the reporter dead in the eye and said, I just threw it and it was intercepted.
I didn't see that he said that.
He did. He did not want to answer questions about that pick, so that's why it's getting the dumbass. I was going to give this to Jalen Hurts on that last-minute pick for the Eagles, but that was more desperation. It wasn't really a dumb play. Bo Nix gets it. God, Bo Nix is trash. We really thought that a guy who spent 6 years in college was going to be good in the NFL. No.
I mean, he did look good in college at some points.
At some points, they would. But I don't know. Anyway, so what's up with the Steelers offense? Why is it the Steelers defense being good doesn't surprise me because they've always been a good defensive team, but why is their offense so terrible? And then you remember who their OC is. It's Arthur Smith.
Yeah. There you go. But also, to be fair, like Justin Fields didn't look terrible.
No, he wasn't horrible. It was just they couldn't score.
Yeah. Like he's about what you expect. I mean, I've actually missed.
Oh my gosh! Here's the actual quote. Dakota has the quote here. He said, "I stepped back and threw it to the other team." Bo Nix, I think Bo Nix needs media training. That's brutal. Fields hasn't been terrible. He's actually looked better in 2 games here than he has for much of his career in Chicago, which, of course, now leads to the question: should the Steelers stay with him when Russell is healthy? No,
they should not. They should absolutely not. I know he's this big unknown quantity, but no, not for me. I'm not a Justin Fields believer. I don't know why anyone is.
I mean, he's a fun guy to root for. He's a fun underdog.
He is. I like Justin Fields, but I don't know. What do you actually see, though? Like, what do you see, like, in terms of his development? Like, I've seen him develop certain things. He's gotten better over time, but it's like, no, I'm not in on it.
Not feeling it? All right.
No, not for Justin Fields.
Okay. Speaking of not feeling things, the NFL world was not feeling the Chiefs-Bengals game, which is a shame because easily the best game of week 2 was Chiefs-Bengals. Absolutely phenomenal game, showcasing why it is so fun when the two of the best teams in the AFC go at each other. Unfortunately, yet again, another Chiefs-Bengals games ended with a penalty, this time on the Chiefs had to convert like a 4th and 25, and they did because the Bengals got called for pass interference.
Yeah, that was a terrible call.
No, it was textbook.
No, it was a terrible call.
It was textbook.
No, it wasn't. No, he wasn't. He was, dude, he was going for the ball. He was so clearly going for the ball. He did not impact the receiver at all.
Like he may be going for the ball, but they contacted.
But no,
his nutsack hit the back of the receiver's head. Okay, that's pass interference.
That is not pass interference, though. That's actually not. It's literally, are you impeding the receiver? Right? He did not. Like, no. Bad.
So many people so many NFL fans. The NFL fans are convinced at this point that the league is rigged for the Chiefs and the Swifties. It's not.
I'm not one of those. I don't think
you are. It's just that for whatever reason, everybody. Why do refs make so many bad calls for the Chiefs? That's what I don't know. Why?
I don't know either. And I feel like because they do, it often makes other people to come out and swing in the other direction and defend things that they know are bad calls. It's okay if it is a bad call. It does not mean the NFL's rigged and those idiots are right on the internet just because it was like during last year's Super. It was like during constantly.
It was like last year's Super Bowl where people were calling holding on every single play against the Chiefs for no reason other than the Chiefs, they have to be. They always cheat. No, they don't cheat, bro. They're not cheater. This is the thing that I don't get. Well, I understand now why people dislike the Chiefs, but NFL fans are going off about how, the Chiefs are the new age Patriots, bro. They're a bunch of cheaters.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah,
not about the cheating thing, just about the unlikable part. And you told me I was right, so I don't care.
No, yeah, the Chiefs are unlikable, not because they're cheaters. The Patriots were unlikable because they cheated a lot and they got caught doing it. The Chiefs are unlikable because
multitude of other reasons we don't need to address right now. We don't need to do it. We don't need to get into it. We don't need to get into that.
Yeah, like the guy who kicked the game-winning field goal. It's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, he is. But they look. The Chiefs at this point, they're just RNG blessed. That's that, and it's difficult to see the best team in football, who is very unlikable, being RNG blessed. It is never nice to see, and seeing it happen constantly, week after week, is very difficult. Especially for me, a Ravens fan who has had to watch two of the last four games the Chiefs have played has been against my team. I mean, not including preseason, has been against the Ravens, and have been subject. I've had to watch them be RNG blessed over and over and over and over
it's
and over.
Really frustrating. Trust me,
it's really frustrating. Incredibly frustrating. Yes. So that's why this is happening and everything. And to be fair, I think that one on the Bengals was a terrible call, but I also don't think it was just like outside of that, of saying it's a bad call. I'm not going to say like that was the game right there. Both teams, there's a multitude of other factors in winning games. It sucks that things happen that way, but they're, whatever. Like I know the Chiefs got called for some earlier shit earlier in the game that I was like, so
yeah. Regardless of how it ended, this was still easily the best game of week 2. Like,
it was good. It was pretty good. The Chiefs are going through the gauntlet and they are impressing. They edged out a victory against the Ravens, edged out a victory against the Bengals, and the Bengals did not look like their early season Bengals. They came to play and they played well, and the Chiefs still beat them. So the Chiefs are really looking. What's there to say about the Chiefs? They just won the Super Bowl. They're looking like the best team in the league. Everyone should have them as the best team in the league. Moving on.
My dad and my brother made a bet on this because after this game, my dad texted our family group chat and said, and I quote, "I'm putting $50 on this. $50. The Chiefs run the gauntlet and go undefeated. Who's in?" And my brother immediately was like, "I'll take that bet." So now I'm really scared my dad's gonna lose $50.
Yeah, did your dad Marty bet $50 that they're gonna go undefeated?
Yeah,
they're not gonna go undefeated.
They're not. No.
Sammy made the right choice. Sammy was just like, that's dumb. No, they're not going to go undefeated. Something will happen. Sure.
I mean, something already has. Pacheco got hurt, so
no. But I mean, like they will lose a game because of something. They're not going to go 17-0.
No, unless they do.
They got a first place schedule. Let me see.
Yeah, I mean, they got the Falcons this week, which
it's a win. Saints, Niners,
Bucks, Jesus Christ, they have a gauntlet. Bills. What is this?
Actually, they could. I'm not gonna lie. This is a pretty easy schedule for first place team. I forgot they're in the AFC West.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean Saints and 49ers is difficult, but Bucks, Bills, they have the Bills' number.
When did I
Texans
go to the Bills?
hopefully could win them. They might actually go undefeated. Genuinely, they might actually go undefeated. Wow.
Oh boy.
Maybe
Well,
Mario's
we
on
are
to
at that point. I mean, if history's repeating itself, it was about this point in the Patriots dynasty where they had the undefeated season. So
So hopefully they'll get annihilated in the playoffs. Hopefully they
Well-
get a. It would be funny if they got like a first round exit. They got like embarrassed by like Jacksonville or something like that. Like they'd be like 55-10.
I'll puke.
Me too. I'd puke in joy, but that's beautiful.
All right, we got 2 more games to talk about real quick. Sunday night, Texans Bears. I think the best thing to say about this game is that first off, the Texans kicker is insane. I think Kaimi Fairbairn hit like 4 field goals, all from 50 plus yards, which just shows you how good the kickers these days are. Secondly, though, Texans, you should have won this game by like 50 points, and you somehow didn't. It was both a combination of Chicago's defense playing their guts out and the Texans just making unforced mistakes or getting into sideline brawls with the Bears, because the Bears did not play good in this game at all. Their offensive line is terrible.
Their offense looks.
Caleb is going to get killed. And I'll give him credit. Caleb was trying his best out there. He still made some bad throws. Like he tried to force a throw in triple coverage, and it was like, man, you can't do that. But he played better than he did in the opener against Tennessee.
It's also really early, and I'm getting concerned because of their OC, bro.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
He's getting torn apart out there, and they had a chance to. They could have won this game. The Texans played horribly down to their competition in this game. You know, maybe it was the jitters of being on Sunday Night Football for the first time in forever, because that's something they mentioned. NBC mentioned, you know, this is the first time we've been in Houston in like nearly a decade. It's like, oh, damn, the Texans have been bad that long, you know, because Chicago had a chance to win this game. And I really think it was just a case of, you know, Caleb just got chewed apart. And I feel bad for him too, because he's been thrown into the lion's den. This is a situation a lot of young quarterbacks get hit with, where they just get thrown in with little development time. The best quarterbacks in the league right now are the ones who are allowed to sit, or the ones who get injured early and have to, you know, sit out, and they take time to develop and learn the playbook. Caleb Williams' best case scenario, honestly, would be for the Bears to bench him for a little bit and let him develop a little bit more. Because honestly, he's not bad. He is not bad. He was this game's leading rusher. He had mainly because he had to run for his life most of the time. But the Bears
I don't know how much of that was scheme.
Yeah, the Bears aren't going to be a bad team. I'll make that very clear. The Bears are not going to be a bad team. But especially when you go toe to toe with one of the better teams in the league in the Texans, and you almost get them, like, that's impressive. But they have got to fix that O-line, because they are going to ruin Caleb Williams if that O-line is not fixed.
Yeah. I have concerns about their offensive coordinator. I do think that C.J. Stroud will probably win MVP, though.
Yeah.
He looks
good. He's really good. He's really good. All right, one more game, and then we'll do our picks and sign off for the day. So Monday night, Eagles, Falcons. This one was so
go Chains.
The best way to sum this up is that the Eagles pulled the Falcons.
Yeah, honestly, that's a really good way of putting it. They did.
Yeah. Last second touchdown from Kirk Cousins to Drake London.
Chains.
Kirko Chains, baby. 180 mil for this man. He first off, the Falcons, fantastic game plan. They kept it close all night long with the Eagles. Philly was, no matter what Philly did, they were not winning this game comfortably at all. It was very evenly matched. And what was funny is somebody made a point on Twitter, and I saw this and I was like, oh, this is hilarious. The Falcons, about 5 years ago, was it 6 years ago? Excuse me. God, time flies. 6 years ago, the Falcons were down at the goal line with seconds left in the NFC divisional round against the Eagles. Matt Ryan drops back and fires a pass into the corner of the end zone for Julio Jones. He misses it. Several months later, in the season opening game, the Falcons are on the goal line. Matt Ryan throws the same pass to Julio Jones. They miss it. 5 years later, Kirk Cousins on the goal line, same play. Drake London catches it. The Falcons have exercised their demons against the Eagles. The brick wall that once was able to stop them, they finally took it down. I just
So you're talking about the previous. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've seen that same goal line flub.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not too dissimilar.
Yeah.
Very ironic.
It was.
To be fair, AJ Brown, I mean, is out. They're without their best player.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't really have what to say. It was just honestly, it was a pretty exciting game to me.
Yeah, that's up there with Chiefs Bengals, one of the best games of week 2.
I like this one better.
Really?
In my opinion. Yeah, but to be fair, watching Chiefs Bengals is both watching two teams I hate. So I'm biased. I admit my own bias on that. And it's hard to even trying to be objective, like, well, it was a phenomenal football game. I'm like, I hate watching it, so I can't really it was a really good game, but I'm like, I would rather watch the Eagles Falcons game any day.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, let's get into our week 3 game picks. Looking forward for this is going to be a fun week. There's a lot of really good matchups. And we'll start things off, Noam, with Thursday Night Football. Tonight, the Patriots.
What? Sorry,
what?
My dog just looked at me. She wants back in the room. Give me 1 second. Oh my God, this dog. I'm just gonna leave my door open.
All right. Well, while he fixes that, we have a really quick promo here from our friends over at Fired Up Podcast. So I'll just play that really quick.
We are part of the Fired Up Sports Network of shows. Please check out other Fired Up Sports Network podcasts like the P-Lot Pod, Water Cooler Talk, Bell Smashers, Philly Sports Love and Pain, Drunk on Broad, Beer Battered Sports, and the Fired Up Sports Show, which are available on all major podcasting hosting sites and social media. Also, check out Mark Ramos' Roundup on firedupsports.com, which breaks down the happenings going on with all your favorite local teams.
Okay, so thank you once again to Mark Ramos for that little promo. Let's get into our week 3 picks. We start with Thursday Night Football. It is another AFC East rivalry game as the Patriots head to New York to face the Jets in Aaron Rodgers' first game in New York City since the unfortunate incident of Monday Night Football last year when he tore his Achilles. So, Patriots, Jets, what we got?
Jets.
Did you mute yourself?
No, that was someone else.
Gotcha. I'm also taking the Jets here too, but the Patriots are going to make this one really close. So, Sunday's early games, we kick off in Cleveland as the Browns host the Giants. This is a disgusting matchup. But I hate to do this. I'm taking Cleveland to win this. This is an ugly matchup.
What's the matchup?
Cleveland versus New York, the Giants.
Yeah, no, I got Cleveland for sure.
I don't know. The Giants could do us a favor by pulling an upset here because it would be so satisfying to watch the Browns lose, especially with that thing as their quarterback. So, all right, Packers-Titans, Malik Willis's revenge game. He returns to Tennessee facing off against the Titans, and I say he's going to get the dub. Give me Green Bay. Pull to win here.
I'm sorry, what?
It's Packers-Titans. Come on, bro. Yeah. We're almost done. Packers-Titans. I'm taking the Packers to get the win in Malik Willis's revenge game.
You know what's funny? Even if they had Ryan Tannehill, it would still be a revenge game.
It would.
Yeah, I can't believe in the Titans. Yeah, Packers.
All right, Bears at the Colts. It's Anthony Richardson's third game of the season, which is more. He's already played more this year than he did last year, facing off against Caleb Williams and the Bears. Until the Bears fix that O-line, I just don't have any faith in them. I'm going to take Indianapolis to get the win here.
Bears.
Ooh.
I can't argue against what you're saying, by the way. You're right. That is a complete valid concern. But I'm going to go with the Bears.
Okay.
I'm feeling it.
Our first of several really good matchups this week. Texans, Vikings, 2 undefeated teams. CJ Stroud and company against Sam Darnold. And as good as CJ Stroud looks, man, I'm fully committed to the Vikings being the reincarnation of the 99 Rams. Give me Minnesota.
Texans, man.
Texans.
Yeah, no, they're like the best team in the league right now. Outside of like the obvious top 2.
Oh.
I have them above the Vikings. The Vikings I like, but
here's another really good matchup: Eagles at Saints. Red Hot Saints taking on the Eagles. This actually, I think, is going to be the best game of the week. And man, I can't root for that team. Go Eagle. There was a time when these were the two teams I hated the most in the league, but I've softened on the Eagles over the years. Go Birds. For the love of God, please beat the Saints.
Saints. So here's the thing. They just beat the Cowboys. Philly should win this game. I think Philly will win this game, but I'm gonna take the Saints as my game pick. I'm gonna call the upset here.
I already have one. I got brewing up. It's gonna be fun. Chargers and Steelers, the league's two top defenses facing off against each other. This is where the Steelers' terrible offense shows up, and this is why the Chargers get the win here.
Fair enough. To me, it's like this, right? The Chargers are a team that so far has thrived off of other teams' mistakes for the first time in their existence, right? I know, very strange for the Chargers to not be the ones making mistakes. The Steelers have kind of done the same thing by playing defense. I think the Steelers are a lot better. I'm sorry, I think they're a little bit better.
Yeah, easy there.
I'm gonna take the Chargers too.
All right.
I'm gonna take the Chargers. Yeah.
All right. Broncos at Bucks. Bo Nix and company trying to get their first win against the Red Hot Buccaneers. What are we kidding?
No chance.
Tampa Bay is going to slaughter them.
They might actually kill them. They might actually go for 40.
Yeah. This isn't this, by the way, is not the oh God, he's killing him game of the week. That's coming up. By the way, the ain't nobody watching that shit game of the week is this one, Panthers Raiders. Yeah. Sorry. Andy Dalton's going to have a minuscule impact in this game just because the Raiders are – Antonio Pierce is screaming at them at practice right now. It's like, we are not losing to those cats. He's not going to let that happen.
We're going to eat their cats.
We're going to eat those cats. Dolphins Seahawks. Dolphins without Tua turn to Skylar Thompson to face off against a 2-0 Seahawks team that's looking pretty good, trying to take advantage of a weakened NFC West. Give me Seattle. I don't trust Skylar Thompson.
Oh no, this would be a huge upset if the Dolphins win this. Absolutely Seattle.
Ravens Cowboys, crucial game for both teams to try and reestablish themselves, and also a preview of our AI Super Bowl. I did our AI Super Bowl in our season preview video where we picked who was going to go to the Super Bowl based on AI. It said Ravens Cowboys. This is our Super Bowl preview.
I gotta take the Ravens here.
I am too. I think that the Ravens, they have to win this game, and I think they will. Because
these two teams, I feel like, are really close, though. Yeah,
this is going to be a really good game, but the Ravens, they have to. Both the teams have to win this game because of how bad their seasons have started. Battle of California, 49ers and Rams. This is the, oh God, look away. He's killing him game of the week because both these teams are so injured. It's just going to be painful to watch. With that being said, San Francisco has fewer injuries, so I'll take the Niners.
Niners, yeah.
Lions at Cardinals. This game looks really good on paper. I think this game is going to be one of the highest scoring games of the week, and I'm actually going to pick this as my trap game of the week and take the Cardinals to pull the upset.
Sorry, I'm stupid shit. Cardinals take the upset against
Detroit.
I like it. I actually really like that. So Detroit's secondary does not look that great, and this could be it. Yeah, I like this. I'm gonna take the upset too. I'm gonna take the upset as well. Yes, Cardinals.
Cool. Sunday Night Football. We got the Chiefs and the Falcons. It's another primetime showdown for Kirk Cousins. Kirko
Chains.
Kirko Chains versus the Chiefs. This is going to be a good one, but I have Kansas City getting this.
Yeah, Kansas City.
Monday, we got two games on Monday night. We've got first one up is Jacksonville and Buffalo. This feels trap gamey. This feels like a trap game. I'm taking Buffalo to win, but this feels like Jacksonville could pull a trap.
I don't think so at all. I'll be very shocked if that happens. Maybe they right the ship enough, and maybe like the Bills defense which is kind of questionable, just doesn't show up. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. It could happen. I'm gonna say the Bills got this in the bag though.
All right. Finally, our final game of week 3 is the second Monday night game. The Commanders are on the road taking on Cincinnati. This is about the time every year that Cincinnati breaks off the rust and actually starts playing like the Bengals. And I'm going to take Cincinnati to get their first win of the season here against Washington.
I would struggle to see them losing it, to be frank.
Then again, it is still early season Cincinnati. Yeah.
Even early season Cincinnati is it like a 20th best team in the league, right?
Yeah.
They're not like 28th like Washington. So, yeah.
All right. Well, with that being said, thank you everybody so much for tuning in to today's episode. And again, we apologize for the scheduling issues. We will work on those going forward. This show, as always, is a proud affiliate of the Fired Up Sports Network. Go check out all of their other podcasts, part of their network, especially our friends over at Bell Smashers. You can follow us on all of our socials at @BBSports_pod and check out our Twitter bio for merch. We will see you guys next week with a breakdown of week 3 and a preview of week 4, plus a look at the WNBA playoffs and hopefully the Major League Baseball playoffs if they can get those settled. That being said, we will see you guys next week.
Hope no one took a drinking game on how many of these I used. See you guys.